much less experienced in a similar type of car. Lorcan, who has really been one of the most improved drivers in this class this year, also in the front row of the grid, and then Ivan Thompson in the yellow Alfa Romeo on the outside of the front grid, just taking up his lap. And there we see the back view of the grid. On the second row, Bob Montgomery in the dealer Opel Team Ireland. Then the man to watch, John Burns in the red Alfa Romeo. Mary Byrne very well up in her yellow Hang 10, and Pamela Scott cadet in the third row of the grid. Shane O'Brien, Pat Murphy. They're about to go. It's streaming with rain. Shell is going to be something else, because it's like class at the best of times. Cullen makes a very good start on the outside, though. It's the Alfa Romeo of Ivan Thompson who's going to lead the pack down into Shell for the first time.
Yes, the Alfa Romeo, slightly narrower tyre and better grip in the rain. Now, Ivan, very experienced driver. There's the Sanyo Metro gone on straight. Problem with the Metro on that slippy part of the tarmac, very light car. He's getting back now. He's got a lot of ground to make up.
It was Vincent Cunningham having a huge moment, and also a very experienced driver, and really he seemed to leave it impossibly late. But a superb performance at the moment from Ivan Thompson. Thompson then in the Alfa Romeo, tiptoeing his way, and you can see he's gone! Thompson's gone! In second, and he's going to roll into the traffic, but look at Byrne. Byrne is up into second place, and it's mighty narrow in there.
Yes, Byrne, a magic move down the inside. I'm sure he was slapping Ivan Thompson there for slowing the whole field down. Now, the Alfa Romeos have a distinct advantage in the wet, and it's Burns will be trying all the way. He's fighting for second place. He's on the outside. Bob Montgomery there in second place, sliding. I think they touch going in there. So we have in third place John Burns, demoted one place there. It's Montgomery, number 95, in second place.
And I think it's Lorcan Johnson in the lead. Hard to distinguish these cars. Yes, number 99, Lorcan Johnson in the lead. 95 is Bob Montgomery. Burns is up, as you say, into third place. Then we have another one of the Opels. Des Cullen is, in fact, in fifth place. Is Shane O'Brien doing well in fourth place. Cullen's in fifth. There's Ivan Thompson just on the right of the screen coming up. And this is the critical one, because this is incredibly slippery. Montgomery trying to go around the outside. John Burns and Cullen, I think, went up a place there inside Shane O'Brien. There's Alan Murray in the Almo Alfa Romeo, with Ivan Thompson recovering very rapidly.
Very, very well done. Lorcan Johnson, a very experienced driver of these Opel Cadets. 1300cc Opel Cadets, 95 there. Montgomery being very brave, trying around the outside. Now, you need lots of grip. When you get off the racing line here in Mondello, it's like little marbles. Look at John Burns sticking the nose cheekily inside the Opel on the waist. And another, there we go.
De Moulin goes round in the Citroen, and well round. Doing a very fancy pirouette for us. We just see the little Sanyo Metro of Vincent trying to recover from the very back of the field.
There we have John Burns trying the outside. Lorcan Johnson now, he'll have the inside line for this one. Oh, he's up into second place. John Burns up into second place ahead of Montgomery, and that's Des Cullen in fourth place, putting pressure on Montgomery. Look at Lorcan holding the inside line. Burns wandering around, still in second place.
Well, Lorcan Johnson with his new sponsor, Industrial and Domestic Safeguards, on the outside, and Burns missing a place there. So Bob Montgomery in the dealer Opel team 1300 SR Cadet goes up into second place. So it's Opel's 1-2, Alfa Romeo, and then the wily Des Cullen right on John Burns' bumper, and I think going to have a go down into Shell. No, he's taking his time. Bob Montgomery goes wide. Burns, I think, could get back second place. But look at Ivan Thompson, number one there. He's really moving up the field. He's trying to get Alan Murray, but there won't be room on the outside. And it must be pretty hectic stuff in there at the moment.
Well, I can see Montgomery and Burns are having a bumping match. That's twice now. Unfortunately, John did it all wrong up at Dunlop. Too much power on, spinning the wheels and let them by him. But that time I feel that Bob and him were banging doors. In the dry it happens, but in the wet it's very hard for it not to happen. The car just goes away from underneath you. Once the front wheels, most of them, in fact they're all front wheel drive cars, the front begins to slide and you've no control. You're just a passenger.
Pat Murphy there in the little Fairlane Flyer, as he calls his Fiesta, just braking there for Esso, and a bit wide that time. Lorcan Johnson, he's going to lose time there. He can't afford to do that with Montgomery and Byrne right on his tail. And once again, under Byrne, oh so sideways, real rally style as he does in his RS 1800 Escort. And the 1300 saloons as they have done all year, providing some very, very close competition. But don't they look slow on slick tyres on the wet track?
Yes, and Burns nearly lost another place there. I think John is over trying. He's getting very sideways. Des Cullen has the inside line. Yes, is this a repeat of last year? No. Very, very close to Burn. Now coming down to Shell, you can see Lorcan Johnson there on the inside, holding the line, making it a wide line for Montgomery. There's Des helping John Burns on his way. Yes, he actually helped him a little bit too much. John, I think, was spinning there. Did he get away with it? He did, and they're away. John, I think, has lost another place. He's down into fourth now, which will let Des Cullen up into third. Montgomery playing a wily old fox there, sitting on Lorcan's tail, watching for any mistake.
So there they are, the two Opel 1300 all cars in this race, front-wheel drive. We've seen Mary Byrne, incidentally, at the tail of that little cube, doing extremely well. There she is. And round goes number 72, Shane O'Brien. And really, not Shell so much as Duckham's that seems to be providing all the drama in this one. Obviously very, very slippery there in the middle of Duckham's, because that's exactly the place that Ivan Thompson made his mistake. Still the same order, however. Lorcan Johnston still leading, number 99 there in the IDS Opel Kadett. Burns going through picture very sideways as usual.
Yes, it's a feat to get a front-wheel car sideways. Burns is driving it the usual style, where he's probably braking with his left foot to get the tail to lock a bit. Lorcan going a little wide there, letting Bob Montgomery in the inside. Des Cullen back into third, a good drive as they pull away from John Burns now. John, very, very, very good to watch, but unfortunately it's not the quickest way. Too much sideways movement. He's letting the three cadets go away. Now Montgomery still continues to try the outside. They're coming to a crawl, whereas Des Cullen could move up a place. They're very, very close, just out of camera, very close there for first place.
Oh, and there goes Pat Murphy getting into a bit of trouble on the outside. Mary Byrne just going through there, but it's still Lorcan Johnston. Lorcan Johnston having seemed to pull out a little bit there. He's only 27 years of age. He's a post office and telegraphs technician, and he's had 6 wins. But look at this for second place. Byrne, there's been an awful lot happening there. Byrne challenging for second place on the outside where there just ain't no room. And the Opel's boxing them back. So it's Montgomery and Des Cullen, and there must be paint being removed there, surely.
Yes, this is it down the inside. If John can hold on here, he's back up into third. Now, tremendous the ground he's made up, but going into Shell that time, Montgomery and Cullen were at each other, to be polite about it. They were rubbing doors and slowing each other down and let John Burns catch up. So Des is going to have to do it all again now to get back up into third. But a very good and exciting race.
Right, when they come down past us this time, when they come out of Dunlop and down the start-finish straight, they will have completed 5 laps, half distance, in this Semperit 1300cc production saloon car race. Burns is second. Burns up into second. 5 laps to go, and can he do it?
Well, this is crucial to Burns. There's an overall saloon car championship between the 3 classes. He's in the Tiddlers class, and Montgomery loses it. Montgomery loses and lets Des Cullen up into third place.
But he got a bit of assistance there from Des Cullen, actually.
Well, I'd say the wet conditions, Alan. I wouldn't say it's intentional. But this gives Lorcan Johnson the chance to get away. But look at John Burns chase him. As I was saying, John Burns needs to win this race for a chance to be the overall saloon car champion. He must win it.
And he won't do it doing that way. Well, maybe he actually made up ground with that maneuver. Well, that was brave. But that was very close to going round. John Burns and the TI Engineering Alfa Romeo, and it's been a great competition between the Alfas and the Opels in this category. At some occasions, the 128 Fiat's getting a look in, but certainly not today.
You hate to say it at this stage of the race, but I'd nearly put my money on John. At the moment, he has nothing to lose. If he wants to be overall saloon car champion, he's got to dispose of Lorcan. Now, if Lorcan keeps on that tight line, look at John. He's got the best line now. He should be able to come around the back of him. Yes, John, go on, stick the nose in. Lost out there, but as long as Lorcan is working hard to guard his position, it'll give John the chance to use all the road and all the grip. Look at this, out and around the opposite side. John has a 5th gear in there which he can pull.
And he's coming down on the outside to Shell. It's going to be very difficult to take the lead at this point. It must be in Lorcan's favour, as indeed it is, and Des Cullen making up ground also at that manoeuvre. The Ashmore Rider Production Saloon Car Championship then at stake in this one, and also a £50 prize being donated by Ashmore Rider to the fastest single lap in this particular race. And look at that, that's Thompson off in the biggest possible way. Round he goes, damage, considerable damage to the back of the Alfa Romeo. It may still be drivable.
Well, what a lovely Ashmore Rider, you know, our panel beaters, one of Dublin's well-known panel beaters, so they may have some work to do. Cullen now leaning on Burns all the way, but John has the inside. The next one is a left-hander. Lorcan still under tremendous pressure, and all fair dues to Lorcan Johnson. He sat there with everybody having a go. He hasn't lost his place. A little sideways, he lost a lot of ground there, and Burns is going to get up alongside him. Next one, a left-hander. Look at John, look at the arms of John move. He's hanging on, push him out onto the edge where there's no grip. John, they're pushing, leaning on each other up the hill. But John is on the outside, Lorcan has the inside line for the next hairpin.
And I think the sponsorship, Burns is very sideways, has he spun it? No, how does he get away with it? But Des Cullen, always in a position there to snatch back second place. And look at Alan Murray, also challenging Bob Montgomery. Tremendous stuff. 5 cars, all in with a chance of winning this Semperit round, and still 3 laps to go.
I would genuinely think there's a little bit too much body contact there now, Alan. I think you can take that. That has nothing to do with the wet. And now I think Des Cullen deserved what he got. He pushed John Burns out onto the grass and it didn't come off. You try your luck sometimes. I don't think that was on, and I don't appreciate that sort of driving at all.
Mary Byrne having a spin down there, hanging her 10, you might say.
Mary, very, very good. She's put manners, as they say in motor racing, on a lot of the lads. She's very, very good, very quick and very, very steady. Now, John Byrne has survived World War III out there, and he's still in 3rd place, but it's Alan Murray, another of the Alfa Romeos, that's jumped up into 2nd place because of that nonsense, I would call it, down at Shell between Des Cullen and John Burns.
So Murray has gone from 5th to 2nd with this manoeuvre in the Armo car, and it gives Lorcan Johnston all the more breathing space, something that he hasn't had a lot of in this Semperit 1300 production saloon car race so far. So it's Lorcan Johnson, number 99, coming down into Dunlop. They will be coming down to complete their 8th lap of this 10-lap race. Johnston leads, Alan Murray in 2nd place, John Byrne in 3rd, and Bob Montgomery, and it's down to these 4 now.
Well, John Burns must be the most travelled man in this race. He's been up to 2nd, down to 5th. Oh, and Alan Murray has lost, and he's going to take Lorcan Johnson off with him, and look at the angle of John Burns, and who's into 2nd? Bob Montgomery pushing Lorcan Johnson. Look at this, 3 abreast. Well, this is what's known as unsportsmanlike behaviour, and John Byrne is in the middle, and he's back into 3rd, I think.
Well, I would imagine the stewards are going to have something to say about that, because it all went a bit crazy. The spin was quite natural, but what happened afterwards, I'm afraid, is when we go down into the realms of stock car racing, and there's been an awful lot of damage done on these cars. There's Bob Montgomery now. He's trying to push John Burns off. Again, that's not on. But Alan Murray's car is quite severely damaged, you can see, all to the benefit of Lorcan Johnson, who kept pretty well out of this.
Yes, well, in fairness, Lorcan started by having a little half spin, everybody closed up, and look at Murray, very sideways, and he's lost 2nd place. No, he hasn't, he's back in. That's an amazing piece of driving.
And I think this bodywork actually rubbing on the wheel of Alan Murray's car, I think that's a problem. We'll have a closer look at that when we come up, but I think Alan Murray's car isn't handling properly. I don't think he can put on the full lock there, that something seems to be pushed in a little bit. Byrne back into 2nd, however, and 2 very dilapidated Alfa Romeos coming down the hill this time. 9 laps completed, on to their last lap. And let's hope the warring factions are over as Lorcan Johnston goes on his winning way at the moment. It's going to be a superb, it's been a superb season for Lorcan Johnson. He's had 3 wins here at Mondello and 3 wins at Kirkeston.
Alan Murray again just made that mistake, came down too quick, leaning on Bob Montgomery. Oh, Lorcan Johnson getting very slow. Now, Lorcan shouldn't panic now. He's got 5-6 car lengths on John Burns. He should just relax and take his time, but watch the angle of Burns as he tries last time into Duckett. Look at this full long slide. He's gained a bit now. He's got 3 more corners. Esso, Bardall and Dunlop to do it, and he's got 2 car lengths, and let's see, can John do it? If he does it, he deserves to win, but we can't take it away from our leader, Lorcan Johnson, who's driven tremendous pressure. At times to look at his mirror and to see them 3 abreast attacking the tail of his car.
So Lorcan Johnston Looks to have it all sewn up. Down they come through Bardall for the last time. Burns closing though, and it's going to be a desperate effort, surely up the hill into Dunlop. The Opel not leaving the door open for the Alfa Romeo, comes right to the inside of the track, and that's fairly normal practice. Burns sideways again, and I don't think he's got the power to do it. It's going to be Lorcan Johnston, the Dubliner, taking the checkered flag after a superb drive in terrible conditions and really keeping the cool with all that pressure. John Burns, an excellent and very entertaining second place, and I think it was just Alan Murray who got first.